Today I want to get into one of the more disturbing cases I've actually ever covered on this channel. This is going to be an episode of Top Stories. I'm not going to do a full story on this. I just wanted to bring it to attention because I think this case is not only one of the most horrific cases that I've seen, but I just saw this report come out from Town Hall, and I haven't seen it on many major news outlets. But anyway, I wanted to go through this report and talk about a couple of the implications of this case. You guys know in the true crime community, we go through all kinds of different cases that explores many dark themes. But sometimes when you go through cases, you just get a sense of the darkness in the world. We know that people can do horrific and evil things, and no matter how many times we read about it, or we see it on the news, or we watch channels like this one and many of the other true crime channels on YouTube, sometimes there's those cases that hit you different. So when I saw this, I didn't really want to cover it, and I was just like, I can't cover that, I'm not gonna do that. But then I kept on thinking about it, and I was like, I can't get this case out of my mind. It is so unbelievable that I was just like, okay, I'm going to talk about this. And that's kind of what this portion of the channel is for, a little bit more off the cuff, a little bit more unedited, so you can hear my thoughts, and I would love to hear your thoughts as well. So here's the headline. A gay couple charged with molesting their adopted sons and also pimped them out to a pedophile ring, report claims. So this is a report from Town Hall, reported by the NY Post. I'm just going to read you a little bit of this article, and I'll go ahead and link the full article in the description. This is what it says. A gay couple from Georgia charged with molesting their two adopted sons and using them to record child pornography also allegedly pimped them out to members of a local LGBTQ+ pedophile ring. So these two men were originally arrested a few months ago in, I believe, August or September of last year. A few months ago, they were arrested under suspicion of child molestation, and they were brought in, and now as the investigation continues, supposedly these two have sat down and admitted to some things, and that's why this report is coming out right now. A months-long investigation by Town Hall revealed that William Dale, 33, and Zachary Jacob, 35, allegedly used social media to prostitute their two elementary-age sons. William was a government worker, and Zachary, a banker, were indicted in August of 2022 on charges of incest, aggravated sodomy, aggravated child molestation, felony sexual exploitation of children, and felony prostitution of a minor. But the shocking investigation received in more detail the sickening abuse that these two boys suffered. So, trigger warning, I haven't read through this whole report, but I know it does go into some graphic detail, and I'm not actually going to read everything because I will definitely get demonetized on YouTube, which I don't care about that much because this channel doesn't make any money anyway. But I'm going to try not to go into any explicit detail, but if this kind of thing is too disturbing for you, feel free to turn off the video here. For the first time, it was revealed that the men allegedly pimped out their older sons, who are 11 and 9 years old, to two other men in a pedophile ring. One of the men that they sold the service to was a man named Lawless, imagine. Lawless claimed that Zachary sent him multiple messages on Snapchat that allegedly read, "I'm going to F my son tonight, stand by," along with images of him sexually abusing the 11-year-old. One of these young children was allegedly injured by being sodomized by one of his fathers, which is not surprising. And it says here in the report that the Zolux, that this couple had adopted the children from a Christian special needs adoption agency. The boys were in the 3rd and 4th grades when their adopted fathers were arrested last summer. So, and the report goes on. I can't even actually read this, not even because I don't want to get demonetized, but I physically cannot read this out loud. It physically actually sickens me. But it basically concludes, the government worker has admitted to forcing one of his sons to perform oral sex on him with the intent to satisfy his own sexual desires, according to a sworn affidavit. So basically, he's admitted to a lot of this in his sworn affidavit, and that's why this report is coming out. I will, like I said, I'll link the article in the town hall report in the description. But when I saw this case, I just thought to myself, what kind of person does it take to adopt two young boys from a special needs adoption agency and then proceed to go on to do all of these ridiculously unspeakable acts? And the conclusion I came to is it really doesn't matter. I think that everyone has two basic natures, right? You hear this debate, are people basically good or are people basically bad? And my answer is yes, right? Obviously, people have the natural ability to want to be good, want to help people, and some people have the natural affinity towards being evil. And in a civilized society, what you have to do, what the job of civilization, the police, the courts, the prisons, the legislature, the point of that is to identify people who have the affinity to do evil, and obviously evil is going to be on a scale, anything from shoplifting to stuff like this, to murder and all of that other stuff. You identify those people and you deal with them accordingly. So obviously in a case like this, they've admitted to it. This is what they did, right? You adopt a 9-year-old and an 11-year-old from a special needs agency. You bring them into your home, and then you proceed to abuse and exploit them for money and for pleasure for years. You admit to doing that, and that's it, right? As a society, you get rid of them, right? These people are charged, they face 9 life sentences. And to me, that's just a complete joke. Think about 9 life sentences. We all agree that life in prison is not a sufficient punishment for a crime like this, right? You can get life in prison for much less than this. And so in the wisdom of our court system, we said, well, yeah, you're right. A life sentence, that's just not enough. Like, look at what they did. And they're like, well, what do you want to do? We could give them 2 life sentences. No, 2 life. See, this was really bad. I don't even think 2. We could do 3 life sentences. But I don't know. It's like, we could do 5. We could do 9 life sentences. And then they're like, you know what? That'll do it. That'll show them. Like, they're not cats. 9, 10, 53 makes no difference. When somebody admits to a crime like this, and that they're basically telling you, this is the kind of person that I am. This is what I did. And I admit it. You're like, okay. Even if they don't admit it, if you can prove beyond a shadow of a doubt this is what they did, then you have to execute. That's just justice. That's how a civilized society should work. And I know that might be a controversial opinion, but what's the alternative? The alternative is to give them 1 life sentence and lock them up forever. And you might say, well, that's good enough. At least they're not going to abuse anybody else. At least they're not going to be able to do it again. And okay, but why are they getting 9 life sentences? You're literally admitting that a life sentence is not a sufficient punishment. That there's no greater punishment that we can give other than to kill you. So, if we all agree that 1 single life sentence is not sufficient for this crime, then I see no other option.